program is brought to you by the Capital Institute, Samuel Foundations, Minastat Realty.
I thought it was amazing, actually. I thought the number of speakers, the number of topics, the amount of hope and optimism, the concrete actions that can come out of something like this are really extraordinary. I love coming to Riyadh. I've been there about 20 times in the last 5 or 6 years, and what I love is the dynamism, the change, the young people. I love all the change that's happening in the kingdom. I feel like Vision 2030 is being achieved, and I think that that is an incredible thing. I think every time I go and I see, especially the amount of young women who are doing things that they love, who are learning, who are working, who are making change, is incredible.
Well, obviously, what the kingdom is trying to do is create jobs and also diversify our economy. But we have to look at across the board, what is the idea of consumption and overconsumption? What do we need? And what do we need as a nation? I think we have all been overspending, overbuying, overconsuming, and this click button prime immediate delivery has skewed our perception of what our personal costs are, personal needs, and our engagement. I think we have been thinking too macro, and if we listen to our last panel and the panel before, let's go back to micro and have a little bit more personal responsibility. And I think that financial literacy, financial engagement at a younger age will allow us all to be more efficient citizens, regardless of whether we're in a kingdom in the Middle East or we're in the West, and the concept of interconnectivity of our behavior and our actions. I think we've lost the concept of our personal impact on economies and other people's lives.
So this is actually my first time in Miami since COVID. I've been here in 2017, 5-6 years ago. The city has transformed so much. There has been a new tech angle to it. Quite a few of my friends and tech founders has moved here and made it their home. I was quite impressed with the quality of the people who are here, whether it's between investors, founders, policymakers, they're all here. I was most happy about the announcement that Mayor Francis made, which is to invite FII to Miami next year, which I'm glad to attend also. But yeah, since 7 years in California, I'm seriously considering moving here. The tech community is growing and welcoming, and also good to remind. Next month is going to be Miami's Tech Week, and an opportunity to meet all the tech founders in one place. Well, the vision has been definitely a big mark of Saudi's timeline. We needed it. The economy needed it. It was a necessity, I think. I do visit, even though I'm based in the US, been for 10 years, but I do visit every couple months. And I do witness changes every time I go, whether it's in technology sector, which we care about, in startup sector, in investments, in IT, entertainment, it's everywhere. I'm planning to move back in a few years, and I think Saudi that I have left won't look anything similar to the ones I'm going to go to. So I'm looking forward to it.
What Miami did is amazing. I mean, to grow a city from really horrible numbers and homicide and many other things to become one of the safest places, to grow the ecosystem and the infrastructure. And I think that's exactly what happened in Saudi with the birth of the Vision 2030. So Vision 2030 started with a full diagnostic about the Saudi economy and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. After that, we looked at the benchmarks that we have globally. And then we came to materialization of the things that we would like to achieve, and we put it in numbers.
I am loving what FII is putting together with this Priorities Summit. It's giving us an opportunity to actually see how the money and the moving and shakers are thinking about the future of our planet and the future of the populations. Because yes, people like to make money, but you can make money and still do good. Actually, yes, this is my first time at FII, but I am very interested in all the great things that the kingdom is doing. I have spoken to some of my clients, which are professional athletes and some music celebrities, and they are thinking about expanding their travels so that maybe we will be able to come to the kingdom and do something fantastic there and meet the people and do a little bit of business. In brief, what I do for a living, I am a creative director who specializes in image consulting, creative client relations, and creative consulting.
Well, I think it's not a surprise where we are, and I've been saying this for the last year. COVID was a very unique situation. It needed to have a fiscal and monetary response. You know, as I said before, I was really proud of we passed bipartisan bills 96-0 and 100-0. The first over $2 trillion we spent, we needed. The second $800 billion we needed. I think if we hadn't have done that, we would have had a global depression, not recession. We then did another trillion, which in hindsight we shouldn't have done, and the ongoing spending should have stopped. So it's not a surprise. We have inflation. There's been too much fiscal response. I think the Fed and a lot of economists just missed it. And as a result, we're now in a situation where interest rates have gone up a lot. And I think the Fed will get interest rates inflation under control. I mean, for a long time, the Fed couldn't get to 2%. They changed the policy and said they'd run slightly hot when they were slightly cold. So, I think kind of they'll get it to 3, maybe not 2, but it's going to take into next year. And I think the Fed should be close to done because these interest rates are slowing the economy.
Amazing, everything amazing from the start to finish. The organization, what my people did, they outstanding. Priority is one of the best events. I am a tech entrepreneur in Miami. I am from Saudi Arabia. I came here to check it out, and I'm puzzled with what happened today. Yeah, so we're developing AI and algorithmic trading fund, and I feel like I fit here because this is all about VC, all about changing society, humanity, using AI in a good way to change in a global perspective and help our people to see things in a different paradigm. So come to check it out, and it's a great event. What's going on over there is unbelievable. It's amazing to see our country grow this fast, and with the vision of our king and crown prince, and with the people around it. I think this is going to be we're going to take Saudi Arabia to another level. Our people, we're going to build our wealth and health and prosperity around our people.
The formula for Miami is simple for success. We keep taxes low, we keep people safe, and we lean into innovation. Shocking, right? We've lowered taxes to the lowest level ever, and we had 12% growth, the second most in recorded history. We never got into the nonsense that other cities got into with defunding their police. We increased funding for police. We gave them the technology they needed to do their job. We supported them. And they have the hardest job in America, by the way, right now. They're constantly under attack and under tremendous scrutiny for very little pay. And shocking correlation. We increased budgets for them, and crime went down. We had the lowest per capita homicide rate since 1964.
Wow.
Okay? It was safer to be in Miami in per capita last year than any year between now and 1964. If you remember 1980 in Miami, we had 220 homicides. We were one of the murder capitals of America. That's an 80% drop. This year, we're 30% below last year's record. And the third thing is we lean into innovation.
Yes, I started in advertising, and then I went to finance at Morgan Stanley in private wealth management. And then I started C3 Summit, because it was really out of frustration. During the time that I was at Morgan Stanley, it was 28-10. People weren't investing, they were just wealth preservation. And we were paid on our assets, what we collected. So I was talking to an Arab American in my portfolio, and he said, you should come to Bahrain. And I said, well, what am I gonna do in Bahrain? He said, we're having the first Bermuda Economic Forum in Bahrain. And I said, well, that's interesting. And I said, what would I talk about? He said, it doesn't make a difference. You're Morgan Stanley. Just come. And I said, all right, that sounds great. So I came here because I'm working with Richard Atias, and I do the C3 Healthcare Summit. And that is on basically creating relations and people, bringing them together to do healthcare diplomacy, to do knowledge transfer, and it's backed by the United Nations. It's backed by the State Department. Bill Clinton helped basically launch it for us. So I was invited by Richard to come because I'm going to speak at the Saudi FII, and I wanted to see what this was about. Well, the head of the biotech, healthcare, and wellness sector for NEOM is going to come to our New York event and speak, and then he's going to speak in our Saudi event too. So yes, I know NEOM well. I've been working with NEOM indirectly for the last 3-4 years, and now we're being basically, I would say, awarded with the head of healthcare coming to speak at our summits.
We'll talk about the Abraham Accords shortly, which were totally unprecedented, but I think what was announced last night was also very unprecedented. And as an American, it's very troubling to me to see the leader of the opposition party be indicted. And I think that that shows, obviously, the fear that the Democrats have of Trump and the political strength that he has. And just as a family member, obviously Ivanka and I love him very much. It's been hard to watch the opponents of him politically continue to break every norm over the last years to try to get him. And we've seen them accuse him of colluding with Russia. We saw them impeach him. We saw them raid his home, and all this is a continuation of that. But what I'll say is I've been by him during a lot of these instances, and it's only made him stronger, and his resolve to take on big challenges, to fight for change, to fight for the American people has only gotten stronger. And
it's been a great event. It's been a great experience. We came in yesterday actually afternoon, and the session got started in the morning. They had great sessions lined up actually. I was very pleased. A great opportunity to learn, and especially the way FII organized this is around all sustainability and the humanity connection, which is impacting, which is climate change, right, environment and all. So it is good to hear the experts speak and the actions that they're taking. And on top of that, the ability for us to, and an opportunity for us to network, right, meet with people from all over the globe. I'm sure there are dozens of countries globally that are represented here, that have visited here. So it's been a great opportunity to chat with them, network with them, talk to them, and so forth. So, you know, what's good about what Crown Prince has done is on the Vision 2030 is to lay out these specific goals. And this is not just a vision on paper. What we heard actually from NEOM CEO, Ryan Fayaz, is very impressive on the activities that are going on, and to support directly the vision that the Crown Prince has set up about 4 or 5 years ago or so. So that transformation has been really pretty phenomenal in the sense that what they have been able to achieve in a short period of time, and what they're trying to do for the next 6-7 years or so to achieve their goals.
What is esports? This is something we've had to work with a lot in Saudi when we were first getting started. Explaining to parents what is esports. The question we got the most often is, why is my child at home watching someone else play a game? And the first question I used to ask is, did you watch the football match yesterday? And they said yes. I said, well, it's the exact same thing. They are watching the professionals in their sport play their sport. It is more than just sitting down in front of a screen and clicking a few buttons. It's tactics, it's community, it's social, and it's a phenomenon that, I mean, really, as the world grows and as long as we have children, gaming is going to be a part of their lives, and it's just an evolution. Gaming has been there since the beginning of time in different forms, throwing rocks, playing with sticks. Digital gaming is just the next version. And it's exciting to see that become a professional sport and see our athletes really become true athletes.
It's a very exciting opportunity for me. It's a big opportunity to connect with fellow leaders that are looking to solve major problems happening in the world, providing solutions to many social, economical, and name it, issues that is going on in our world. And I'm very excited being here, learning and listening to people that are getting things done. For the first time I heard about NEOM for the first time today, even though I've been reading about it online, but watching that particular session opened my eyes to what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is doing for the world and how they are creating the Earth Planet B, as they call it. So that's something really, really exciting, and I'm very excited and see a lot of possibilities in this event.
Look, the figures you mentioned do not surprise me. We're living in an era where we are literally bombarded by information left, right, and center. So for people to distrust information that they are receiving, that is not unusual. However, in every crisis, in every problem, there's also an opportunity. The flip side of that equation is we are noticing a significant increase in subscription, i.e. people for the first time since the kind of expansion of the internet willing to actually pay money for a premium for professional quality journalism. In fact, by the end of 2022, we've seen a 58% increase in subscriptions to news platforms, according to web analytics company Piano, surveying 123 top news providers in the world.
This priority event that's brought to you by the FII Institute is really looking at the critical issues in the world today. You know, the issues that are difficult to tackle, sometimes difficult to talk about, but they've really brought together all the global leaders and the experts from around the world to look at finance, to look at business, to look at trade, health, education, agriculture, energy, the energy transition, all of that put together, where we've really pulled together all of the great minds, as I say, just to, you know, to open that discussion just a little bit wider and perhaps get a little bit uncomfortable with it and come up hopefully with some solutions. And it's great we're seeing some of those solutions in action here as well. Well, Saudi Arabia, of course, has tremendous interest in everywhere around the world. I mean, it's absolutely determined to be a global player. I think from the work and the investments from the PIF, this is so important. And it's actually working, you know, sort of abroad and at home. They're outspending abroad, and they're also recruiting money to come back in and do strong investments in the country. So they have their eye focus on the big prize. And I think, as you can see, the work that they're doing, so many more people know so much more about Saudi Arabia, are interested to invest in the country, looking at a huge population and a rapidly changing population. So there's tremendous dynamics in the country at the moment, tremendous excitements, and again, all been led by that great vision that's going to put the country on the global map where it belongs. I have no doubt that Vision 2030 will achieve its goal. When you look at the ambition and the drive in Saudi right now, and I've been going to Saudi Arabia for almost 20 years, you know, I can clearly see the changes on a day-to-day basis. And again, I think the absolute social and economic shifts there have been in the country, the involvement of so many young people in the workforce, women in the workforce, the absolute drive, the focus on entrepreneurship, all of this stuff was not there before. New industries that are being created day by day. You look at the investment policy of the country, really bringing back the big international companies to spend time, money, and indeed basically to show up in Saudi, be part of Saudi Arabia and make that its headquarters. Yep, they're absolutely determined, so they should be, and they're well on the way to get there.
I think, as you mentioned, it is the largest project in the world, but it's very ambitious and challenging, but we get all the support to get it done. So as ambitious and as demanding the job is, my job, but as well as the rest of the organization, we are compensated by the support of the board, chaired by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, as well as an exceptional management team led by the CEO. And the combination of those two is really what gives me the comfort. We sleep every night thinking, what is the next problem going to come from the day we wake up? And but knowing that we have the full support of the board, as well as our shareholder, and a management team led by some of the most exceptional people from all around the world, and you met many of them.
It's great actually to be here in Miami, and as we have all seen that the Public Investment Fund announced that there will be $106 billion agreements between Saudi Arabia and the US, specifically like from the private sector. So, and it's absolutely important and crucial to maintain the Saudi relationship for global security and for global prosperity. I just remember like the words of the mayor of Miami. He spoke an hour ago, and he said that Miami is witnessing a tsunami of opportunities. So I kind of like that expression, and it is actually true. Miami has been growing economically in a very good manner, and I think Saudi Arabia will always look for opportunities in all over the United States. But Miami has a special place because also the next PIF or FII priority meeting will be in Miami as well. So we are seeing like some sort of a shared kind of vision with regards to Riyadh and Miami. So I can't call them like sister cities because this one has like a coast and Riyadh doesn't. But in general, economically speaking, they are somehow sister cities. Absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And I think we are seeing and witnessing a lot of the points of Vision 2030 have been accomplished already 2 years ago. So I think the Saudi Vision 2030 is very ambitious, but at the same time very achievable with the right mindset we have in the leadership of Saudi Arabia. And I think the future is going to be very promising.
That the only way to talk about hope today, and I don't think hope is enough. I think hope is a start. If you just get to hope and you get stuck there, you don't take any action. It takes certainty for people to take action. And I think we want to talk a little bit about ways we as leaders can induce that, not only in ourselves, so we lead by example, solve some of our own challenges, so that we can also help other people do the same. Who's interested in that? Just out of curiosity there. Good, fantastic. And I'd say Ramadan Mubarak, first of all, for those in the room from there, and happy Passover shortly, happy Easter for others. If we want to have some hope, we can look at the people of the book. All of them are celebrating things in the next week or so. And for thousands of years, they've helped to guide. They're not the only religions in the world, but they've given us principles, universal principles that have guided human behavior and helped us make it through wars, make it through pandemics, make it through recessions and depressions. I mean, you don't have to worry about hope. All you have to do is look at the pattern of humanity, and you can have some certainty. It's a very different world than just hoping, in my opinion.
Merci beaucoup. Quand je suis là, j'ai vu que vraiment il y a des autorités, des investisseurs, des universitaires et des politiciens qui viennent de partout dans le monde, qui sont là aujourd'hui, et ça offre beaucoup d'opportunités. Et vraiment, c'est pas difficile, l'interaction est très facile. Ça permet aux gens un bon brassage des personnes venues d'azimut, de se croiser, de se connaître et vraiment faire du linking. Et c'est très important. Arabie Saoudite, la fois dernière, j'ai voulu y être, mais à la dernière minute, j'ai un empêchement. Mais la prochaine fois, je viendrai, Inch'Allah, en Arabie Saoudite pour assister au prochain événement. Bon, c'est bien, parce que quand on dirige un pays comme l'Arabie Saoudite, il faut avoir une vision, parce que c'est ça qu'on doit apprendre aux dirigeants du monde. Quand on a un pays à diriger, quand on a un continent ou bien quelle que soit une association ou quelle que soit la structure qu'on dirige, on doit avoir vraiment, ça doit se baser sur une vision claire, bien définie et bien expliquée, comme ça les gens vont comprendre. Et après, voilà, pour le plan d'action, pour le faire aussi, ça deviendra facile.